Hand position, you want to be as wide as you can. You want to be outside, pinkies on the very outside of the handles.
And then does it make a difference where you're trying your elbows out or?
What's that? At the catch?
Yeah, well.
Or not at the catch, at the finish?
The back.
Yeah, generally, they're going to be about a 45-degree angle. If you're down here, it's awkward. You can't touch your stomach. If you're up here, your shoulders, these little bitty shoulder muscles are going to be tired as shit from doing an upright row. About where you do a push-up, halfway between. Wherever you're comfortable, your hands are relaxed, your fingertips. Okay. So I want to demonstrate a little bit of what the stroke will look like and what the timing of the stroke will look like.
And can I say one thing that you didn't say, but you get it? If you go to your beginning, right when you're about to pull, your full setup, if you guys notice, one thing that clicked for me, and it might click for you guys, if you notice when his shoulders are disengaged, the key that Sims told me is if your nose, shoulders, and knees are in the same spot, then your shins are going to be vertical, and you're going to hit it every single time. So if you concentrate on your nose, shoulders, and knees being in a line, your shoulders are disengaged, your nose is right there, your knees, and your shins are
As opposed to shoulders back?
Yeah.
Now I've got nose and knees.
Yep.
You got to bring the shoulders forward.
And it's just after you started growing with him so much, you're like, yeah. And I noticed, I was like, he said that.
Yeah, that's good.
And also another thing he told me that I don't know if you were going to hit on or not. In CrossFit, they tell you a lot. I've heard a lot. Keep your heels in the thing. For them, he said no, because for a lot of people, your flexibility won't allow you to get your shins vertical with your heels still attached.
Yeah,
to the
I was a
bottom.
catcher. I've got about as flexible ankles.
Right. So with you, I saw.
I can almost get there, but not quite.
So your heels don't necessarily need to be.
Yeah, no, the heels being down is no advantage.
None at all.
But when you're driving away, obviously you want down.
You're pushing through the balls of your feet. You're not pushing through your heels.
The way he said it, and I probably said the same thing to you, was when you're on the rower, and you were doing it when you held on here. He said when you pull, you should almost have your ass come off the seat to the point where it might slide and you might miss. Because that's going to be your biggest power output, and you're not going to do that with your heels. You're going to start it with the toes of your feet, because if he comes in and he squishes in, and his power is right here, he's going to push it real. I mean, eventually it's going to drive through your heels because your quads are going to engage. But your first pull, it's not. It's going to be all. You're going to be tucked in there, and you're going to blast out. You know what I mean? You're going to blast off the footpath, whatever you want to call it.
Is there a correction for that? Because I have that problem a lot coming off the seat. How do you keep staying?
Generally, that means
Start going more.
that the seat is probably moving without the handle.
Okay. So it's in proper form then.
Right. If that moves, then if the butt moves, it's going to lift. So keep your chest up. Probably your angle may be too far.
Okay.
Yeah, you might be pushing it out with your butt.
No, my butt comes
if
off.
they're
of it.
connected,
Oh.
if they're connected here, and if when the seat moves, the handle moves, it's generally you're going to be okay. You may want to look at where your foot position is.
Mm-hmm.
If it's too low, you might be driving your body up as opposed to backwards.
Oh, I have it on 0, the lowest setting. The littlest, smallest
Yeah,
setting.
so play with your foot setting a little bit because that changes your angle that you're driving with your legs.
And I was taught to drive through my heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you talking about
So I'm gonna demonstrate a few. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna demonstrate the body positions, and I'm gonna try to keep it at about a 25 stroke rate with the rest ratio where I want it. All right, so I want you guys to notice hands away first, then back angle, then knee bend. If you're having to move your hands over your knees, you're not in the correct position, you haven't set your back angle. The only way to set your back angle is by sliding and going. You're losing a lot of power, you're wasting a lot of energy. All right, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to row for maybe 20 seconds, and I want you guys to just get a feel for what it's supposed to look like. All right? That was 27, 28 stroke rate. And you can still see it's fast, hands away first, immediately. First thing you always do. As soon as you touch, hands away. That's a great way to start learning. If you're coaching someone, when they catch, put your hand on their knees. Don't let them bend their knee until their shoulders get in front of their hips, and then you let them bend. You can have somebody do it to you. You can walk up, say, put your hands on my knees, take it off as soon as my shoulders cross in front. A lot of CrossFit people will rest at the back. And then slow, slow, slow. Pull, rest. Slow, slow, slow. But when you're having to at the bottom, just pull yourself forward. You're not actually resting anymore. So this thing will move on its own, right? That is what you are letting pull your arms and your shoulders. That tension, you're using it to pull you forward. You're not doing a sit-up, working your abs, working everything. You're relaxing everything. Let it pull you. Then you bend your knees. All right? Let it pull you. Then you bend your knees. All right? So I think the best thing probably is
One question.
sit some people down if we have
Your catch position in your back, your final position, where is that?
just past, basically anything past, I don't know, maybe 15 degrees is what I'm at right now. You're now having to do a lot of work to do a sit-up to get yourself back. So the extra 2 inches you gain in your pull, which is not allowed on that screen, is a lot more work to do a sit-up and pull yourself back up. And if you're doing 30 strokes a minute, you're doing 30 sit-ups a minute if you're doing it back there. That takes a lot of energy. So don't think about this part as much happening. It doesn't help you. You're going to be just about equal distance in front and behind your hips.
So the guy that bends all the way back and pulls it over,
Right. Pulling high is,
The 10K?
yeah, pulling high is an extreme waste of energy, doesn't help you. Top ab, slightly behind, shoulders slightly behind hips.
This technique obviously has just, in reference to your body proportions, like you're saying this technique is for every single
Yes.
person. So if you're taller, you're gonna have an advantage here.
You're gonna have a longer distance.
So then, how do you, for example, us that are vertically challenged, how do you compensate for that?
You can't.
I think at the end of the day,
It's just another movement in CrossFit you have to think of. If you're doing squat cleans, you don't have to move the weight as high. You don't have to do as much work because you're shorter. You have an advantage. On this one, the longer you pull it, the more work is being done. Each pull, the faster you're going to go. So they have a slight advantage here. There's nothing you can do about it. The only thing that does make a slight difference is your body proportion. If you have short legs and long torso, you're going to have slightly different stroke than somebody with long legs, short torso. But not enough for us to understand and take advantage of.
Blocks on my feet.
Hey Jenny, I've seen this before, like I think on the CrossFit main site, some rower was saying that when you start off, you want to do a couple choppy pulls.
Oh yeah, that's
Do
good.
you want to do that?
Choppy pulls takes a lot of energy. I see a lot of people go half, 2/3, full. Sit there and try that one time. That's a lot. I mean, you're breathing hard after doing it once without the hand. 1, 2, 3. That's a lot of work. All right. What rowers do to get an advantage is a second pull with the arms on only the first pull. All right. So big pull. 2. And then you're normal. That's it. That's all they do. Big pull. 2. And you're going. That's it. Because if this is not, you can do this all day, you're not going to breathe in. But this is a lot of work. All right, so first First pull only is when it is the only advantage. Big pull, pump the arms, and go down. So that right there got the screen to read 2 minutes flat. Generally without it, 2:33. And that's not a lot of extra work. So once you got the wheel spinning, it doesn't really matter. All right?
If you have a bouncy chain on your recovery, that means you're going too fast coming back in.
Yeah. A lot of times what that means is you're finishing really hard, you slam it into your stomach, it's going to have some momentum in the chain. If your chain is moving up and down, and your hands are moving up and down, you're wasting energy, you're not staying in line. You want the handle to stay on the same path. If it's doing any of this stuff, you're losing a lot of energy. You see a lot of people where the chain's going up and down, right? It's very, very inefficient, and it results in you're doing the same amount of work, but the screen's not showing that the wheel's spinning. It doesn't convert into good power output.